At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. 3, 2, 1, yo. What's going on? Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere. Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I'm Ty Hudson, the creator, owner of this channel. Arkansas goes on the road and well, you're here. You know what happened. You've read the title of the video. You saw the graphic, the thumbnail. Not a great game. So we'll get into that and a little bit more. Do me a favor. I get that you're pissed off or you're upset or you're a Debbie Downer right now because of your hogs, but do the channel a favor. Look, you still support your boy. Hit the like button. Tap the subscribe, the subscribe icon button down below if you haven't already. Check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. And of course, if you want to become a Patreon member, that link is provided for you as well. Shout out to the Patreon supporters. Really blown away by the support there. It's just been absolutely incredible. Of course, shout out to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They're killing it over there. They're absolutely killing it. Travis Ford and the boys, they do good work. They operate out of Central Arkansas and, of course, Northwest Arkansas. If you have to repair or replace your garage door, they're the guys you need to call. Give them a call. Tell them Ty sent you. Okay? So, yeah, and please share the content. That's extremely important, and I do appreciate those of you that do. Listen, I know a lot of people let go of the rope a long time ago. This is what I do. I get it. We all live in the moment. We all get pissed off. We all have those kind of reactions that you shouldn't have, but you're going to have because fan is short for fanatic. I'm just as guilty as anybody. But I've come to this I've just kind of come to this agreement that, look, they're just not a good team. They're not gelling. They're playing bad basketball. They're a team full of guys that could probably start in about 80% of this league, maybe more. You got guys up and down this roster that could start in top 25 squads. But when it comes to playing together as a team, as a unit, there's just no gel. There's just no cohesiveness. Now, this game was interesting because Arkansas held as much as, I think their biggest lead was 11 points in the first half. It was, look, I felt like, okay, this is going to get closer. They're not really good at building on leads, especially in conference play. This is going to come down. But, like, if Arkansas can just finish that first half, on a strong note, if you could just finish out those final 4 minutes, just finish out this first half with a decent-sized lead, stay out of foul trouble. Of course, they couldn't do that. I got to say, I don't remember the last time a Razorback fouled out with 13 and a half minutes to go in the second half. I've never seen that. Amude fouled out, and you can't tell me that wasn't huge. That was huge. That was a big loss for the Razorbacks. I'm going to give credit to Muss. He kind of went with a little bit bigger roster, bigger lineup. And he's not. Look, I think he's still trying to look. Again, broken record. I get it. There's still a lot of button pushing going on right now. They're still trying to get this thing figured out. The craziest thing is this game probably, it felt like, and they brought it up in Discord, it was a 10, 12-point lead for A&M most of the second half, but it felt like they should have been down. The Hogs should have been down 25. Well, how did they do that? Well, it's real simple. They improved at the free throw line, and oh yeah, by the way, they had like 400 offensive rebounds. I mean, Arkansas was crashing the boards. It's the only reason. It's the only reason why you were able to bring this thing back down into single digits in the second half. I mean, again, A&M had as much as a 15-point lead. You know, I give a lot of credit to Muss. I mean, I think he was trying to find the right combination. I think he did kind of find it in the second half, but it was almost like too little, too late. They're not going 0-18 in conference play. I'm not even. I don't even think it's a possibility. They're not going 0-18. I know that's really easy to say right now because people are very reactionary. People are extremely reactionary, and we've got a few people in our Discord that are extremely prone to going to negative town the minute things turn south, and it runs some people off. We're gonna have to have a discussion about that. My Discord is all about, like, look, it's a place you are absolutely allowed to be critical. You're absolutely allowed to voice your opinion, but there needs to be a scale, okay? When it is all negative from the same three people, I think these three individuals need to balance it out a little bit or just back off the keyboard because you are affecting the rest of the Discord, and that's when I'm going to step in and probably get into your DMs and have a conversation like, bro, chill out. It's okay. All right, I'm not putting you in timeout. I'm not an authoritarian type personality, but I'm gonna tell you, like, just pump the brakes. If you want to do that, go take that to Twitter. But you're going 90%. You're going 0 to 100 to negative town, man. Chill out. It's gonna be okay. It's just a game. I know it's crazy to say that. You're not supposed to say that, but I'm going to. It is just a game. Does it have a negative effect? Listen, you can only let you have a negative effect. You have to. I think you have to come to an agreement that this is just. It's not a good basketball team. It's okay to be disappointed, right? It's okay to be pissed off, even like, damn it. I get it. We've all been prone. I've done it. I've done it in our Discord, and I've kind of learned to just back away from the keyboard a little more. I wanted to today. I wanted to just go off on some players, and then I realized, you know what? I've got a YouTube channel. I'll do it then. But I like the way they closed this game out. I thought they fought hard in the second half. This thing could have gotten way out of hand, and got to give credit to Muss and his staff and those players. Jalen Williams, that guy he'll just put it all on his shoulders. Really impressed with him. Really impressed with what he did. JD Notae, listen, man. I mean, let me refresh this. JD Notae ended up with 33 points. 5 of 8 outside, 11 of 23 overall field goal shooting here. The guy had a couple of offensive rebounds. He had 5 total rebounds, 3 assists, and a couple of steals. The 5 turnovers are what the biggest, blemish or the biggest black eye that he had today were the turnovers. Him and look, Williams had 4 turnovers. Those two guys, between the two of them, nearly had 10 turnovers. That's just ridiculous. I think they go 500 in SEC play. Listen, I think that's a realistic possibility. I think they could go 500. They may only, who knows, they may only win 2. I don't know. They may only get a couple of conference wins, but they're not going 0-18 in conference play. And that the way they started in the first half and the way they came back in the second was to me that there's signs there that they can absolutely win some games. Do I think they make the tournament? No, I think they haven't even left. They're grounded right now, right? Like they're not leaving planet Earth right now. Meanwhile, you've got the top half of the SEC playing really good basketball. And the SEC it's a pretty decent basketball conference these days. Yes, we will win at home against Mizzou. And maybe that's your only win, Kate. I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, I doubt that. I don't know how many wins they get in conference play. We'll have to wait and see. We were within 30 seconds left. Terrible loss, but I think we showed fight. Exactly. That might be useful if we turn the ship around. That's usually how things go, right? It's not an overnight change where all of a sudden you start winning a bunch of games. It's usually like, wait a minute, they actually finished that game out while being down at 15. They brought that thing down within a point. I mean, they could have taken the lead in the set late in the second half. And A&M's playing some pretty damn good basketball, and that was at their place. Yeah, I absolutely think Arkansas is going to win some games. And maybe they get it turned around. I'll say this much. Like I said, you can't have a bad January because now it puts all the pressure. If you have too bad of a January, then it won't really matter what you do in February. But, if you're trying to get it all figured out, you need to start now. Like, listen, you're 0-3. You're 0-3 in conference play. Did not think we'd be saying that at the beginning of the year. Should have fouled after inbounds pass. Yeah, I did not understand that, Roger. I was thinking the same thing. What are they waiting for? I realized they were in some foul trouble there late, but you've got it. I don't know why they didn't try to foul quicker. Ty, what do you think are the chances to make the tournament? Thomas, not very high. 5% chance right now. I mean, again, you're 0-3. You got the shit kicked out of you against Oklahoma. You lost to Hofstra and Little Rock. I mean, you have 0 impressive wins. I know people are trying to push Cincy and K-State, but like they're not exactly elite wins. Like you don't have a ranked win. You don't have a quadrant 1 win or whatever. You're going to get some opportunities because the SEC has a little bit better reputation this year, and with that comes higher net ranking and what have you. But it all comes down to what these guys – only the Razorbacks have any say as to how far they go this year. It's still too early for me to say it's completely over. Too early. I've followed basketball too long to say that, you know what, we're 3 games into conference play, it's completely over. I'm not there yet. Again, like I said, let's get 8 SEC games, 8 conference games under our belt, and then we'll take I'll give you another like solid prediction. Right now, a soft prediction, they're not making the tournament. I mean, 19 to 27% chance they make tournament. We finished strong, could have let go of the rope, but held on. Exactly right, Kate. Have not seen Centennial in the All-American Bowl. Yeah, I tried to watch a little bit of that at halftime. I saw one of those kids had a wide open touchdown right before half. So funny how I heard how great these transfers were in the beginning, and now we were out of the top 25 and probably out of the tournament. So again, crazy. I know you're not new here. These were solid transfers. These are guys that are coming. I mean, these are guys that were very highly thought of. You can have All-Americans up and down this roster. That doesn't matter if you're not gelling on the floor. If there's no cohesiveness on the floor, then it doesn't matter. They struggle for long periods of time on the floor finding any cohesiveness. I would argue in the second half they found a little bit, and that's what kind of gives you a little bit of hope that they at least get some respectable wins and that they're not a complete dumpster fire. It doesn't mean they make tournament. And I know, again, right now it's real easy to buy into the it's completely over narrative. I get it, but I'm just not there yet. Like I want to see them. Again, let's just take a look. I don't feel very confident over the next 8 games or the next 5 games if I'm being confident. Or if I'm being honest, I don't know what they do in these next 5 games. I mean, you have a couple of games that look winnable, but you know what? Hofstra looked winnable. OU should have been winnable. Vanderbilt looked damn winnable, and you lost that one. So I mean, I don't feel very confident. I don't. My confidence level's not real high. Ty, I noticed at moments Muss was just sitting down, not calling plays. What's that about? I have no idea. I mean, maybe he was taking a chill pill because he didn't want to get teed up. I don't know. Maybe that's something he was told that he needed to do. Maybe Hunter Yurchak told him you need to chill out and take a seat for a couple of minutes. We don't need you getting teed up in every single game. I don't know. You'd have to ask him that, or maybe someone in the media could ask him that. Because we have great individual players, we just need them to gel. Exactly right, Thomas. You're exactly right. Again, I think the individuals on this roster are good enough that they could probably go somewhere and have an impact, right? I mean, look at Ethan Henderson. He plays a pretty big role at A&M, and I mean, I don't know that you could use someone like Ethan. I'm not even going to lie about it. You could absolutely use someone like Ethan this year as someone to rotate. He still struggles at finishing at the rim. If I'm an A&M fan, it's like, I told you, I feel like I said that when he transferred there. I feel like I made a comment about him not being able to finish at the rim. Ty, that's what I'm saying. This team is too good to be bad. Well, I mean, again, guys, cohesiveness matters, okay? And I know a lot of you understand that, but I'm seeing it on social media where like people just don't understand that. They feel like, well, wait a minute, this guy was great there, this guy was great there, this guy was great there. Why aren't they playing better? JD Notae's doing this, Amude's doing that. What is the deal? We're having great individual performances by some of these guys. Look what they did on the offensive rebounding, right? Cohesiveness matters, man. Turnovers. And what are turnovers a product of? Devo all year. What has that guy done all year? He it drives me crazy. It's like no one is ever prepared for him when he moves the ball around. He didn't do it as much today. I think he only had how many turnovers did he end up with? What did he end up with? It was at least 2, right? Okay, no, he had 4. But I think 2 of them were just good plays, or at least 1 or 2 of them were good plays by the defense, by A&M. I mean, they did play pretty good defense. You got to give them credit. You got to tip the cap to the Aggies. But then a couple other passes by him, it's like no one's there. That's a part of cohesiveness. It's like an understanding that you have with one another. I think if you had a point guard, if you had a true one spot, if you weren't relying on J-Dub to rack up the assist every single week, now he only had 2 assists today. It would be JD Notae who would lead them in assist for a while. No, sorry, not JD Notae. Devo would end up with 7 assists, but there's still these no look passes. I don't know if you guys noticed this. They'll do this like a half attempt at a no look pass. And they do that 3 or 4 times a game, and it's usually Devo. JD and again J-Dub and JD, Williams and JD Notae combined 9 turnovers. Devo had 4 turnovers. I thought someone else had at least 2. It looks like you have a bunch of 1s. Jackson Robinson, how many minutes did he get today? You talk about a roller coaster ride of a year for him. Like, this is a guy that's caught fire at times, and then he has trouble buying a lot of minutes. Let's see if the Arkansas page has their minutes up. I don't know if they do or not. Well, they're only giving me I'm only seeing team stats on the website. I'm not seeing minutes. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got it up. We got the minutes up. Okay, Notae, of course, got you 38 minutes. Yeah, Jackson Robinson ended up with 8 minutes tonight. He was 0 for 2 from the floor. And did you notice, too, like they were horrible at the free throw line in the first half. They cleaned that up in the second half, and they still shot, respectable, almost 72.5%, 21 to 29. Compare that to the first half. I think at one point on their first 8 free throw attempts, I think they were shooting 50% or right around. So they did end up getting their free throw shooting up at the line. Of course, that was JD going 6 of 9. And how about Kamani, 5 of 6? And Devo, 7 of 8. Like those guys, it's good to see that it's not only likes that's automatic at the line. Not that these guys were automatic, but you know what I'm saying. It's good to see that if likes isn't knocking them all down. And for a while, Connor Vanover. Of course, Connor didn't play a single minute. Don't ask me what the hell's going on with Connor and why he's not getting more minutes. I thought this game at times played at a pace that he could have played in. I don't know what's going on with Connor. And I find it funny, Muss, every once in a while. He did this a couple of weeks ago. He said, I don't know why you guys aren't asking me more about Connor. Nobody in the media is asking him about Connor. What's going on with Connor Vanover? But J-Dub tonight, 2 assists. He had a steal, 2 blocks, 11 total rebounds. He had 10 defensive rebounds, 10 points. Amude, who, again, fouled out way too soon. He had 10 points, only 1 turnover. He got off to a really hot start. In the first half, I think it was your first 20 or so points, it was just between Amude and J.D. Note. And then, of course, he got into some heavy foul trouble. Look, again, this is one of those games. You cannot blame officiating. I did think a couple of those Amude fouls were pretty soft. I thought a couple of those were pretty soft. I thought the one on J-Dub was pretty soft, that he got down low when he was going after when he was trying to make an attempt on I think it was a defensive rebound on their end of the floor. And it looked to me very soft touch. And look, they did A&M, they got home cooking, but that happens, everywhere. Other than the Vanderbilt-Arkansas game, that right now is this is this year's version. That was this year's version. When was it? LSU 2019 when they came to Bud Walton. That is still one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. That Vandy game is in the top 5. That Vandy game was in the top 5, man. And you didn't lose because of officiating. Not solely. It was definitely something you had to overcome. Today it was just turnovers. 18 total turnovers. You had a 16 assist to 18 turnover ratio. Yeah, you're not winning games doing that. Definitely. Ethan Henderson, who averages about 3 points a game, he ended up with 4. He only had a couple of rebounds. He had 1 offensive rebound. Of course, for them, they had so much production off their bench. In the first half alone, I think they had 20 – it was either 20 or 21 points off their bench in the first half alone. A&M's playing good basketball. They look to me right now – I don't know if I'm going to say they're a tournament team or not, but they're off to a damn good start. They're 13-2. We'll see how they look. When the dust begins to settle towards the end of the year, when you get towards the end of February, I've kind of thought they might be a team worth keeping an eye on. I did not think they would start off 2-0 in conference or 13-2. Definitely would not have picked that. They've gotten off to a really good start, and now confidence has settled in for them. They didn't exactly beat a great Razorback team. In fact, they damn near, you could probably argue they could have lost this game. So. At home, kind of makes you wonder right now if you're struggling against Arkansas how bad they've played. Again, impressed with the fact that Arkansas goes down 15 or so points and they managed to take this thing. They controlled a good portion of the second half. About the 7 or 8 minute mark, all of a sudden they just start chipping away at the lead, and it was because of ball movement and not as many turnovers. That final, 6 or 7 minutes in the first half, they turned the ball over on 5 possessions. It was something like five or 6 possessions they had turnovers. And at one point they had back-to-back turnovers. A&M gets some points. Arkansas gets a point, and then they do it again. I think they had back-to-back turnovers on 2 different occasions in the first half, if I remember correctly. A lot of things that have to get fixed here. But having saying that, again, they shot 31, almost 32% at 3-point, 6 of 19, right? Almost 41% from the floor. They were 21 of 29 at the free throw line. You had a little bit of production off your bench. I mean, you can't hate too much. They had almost 20 points. Likes did not see that. And listen, Likes can be a dynamic player at times. We all know how good he can be at getting to the free throw line, at finding a way to get points. And he's at his best when he drives and he kicks the ball out to somebody. Or he finds someone else uncovered underneath because he's drawing all the attention from the defenders. When he's doing that, that's when Likes is at his best, and that's when he's at his most effective, and that's when this offense can be super effective. Or when J-Dub is moving the ball down low, which we see him do all the time. He has no problem dishing the ball out. We've seen him knock down threes. He passed up probably at least 2-3 open looks outside. We have seen him knock down threes. I'm glad that he's a willing passer. I wouldn't mind him taking at least one of those. I mean, there's been games this year where he's had 3 or 4 open looks and he just passes them up. Dude, you've got a shot outside. I mean, you're not going to hate on the guy if he just tries one. And if you knock that one down, then no one's going to hate on you for trying to take another, as long as it's not a dribble, shoot scenario, right? As long as there's a little bit of ball movement. I would love for him to become a scorer one way or another. I would love for him to be a guy who you could rely on getting 10, 12 points a night. He had 10 points tonight. No, he had too many turnovers. Again, 4 turnovers, just, but he had a really productive night. He had a double-double, 11 rebounds, 10 points, again, 2 blocks and a steal, and stayed out of foul trouble, only a couple of fouls. And when you consider the amount of minutes and how much attention he gets, that's pretty impressive. J-Dub is, I don't know, man. He's a big part of the engine block for the Razorbacks on both ends of the floor. In fact, I thought, if you're going to stay in this game, he had to have a good game, and he did. He had a really good game. Let me get to the chat here. I'm starting to think Devo was only good because of Smith and Tate's leadership last year. He looks lost. I don't know what Devo's deal is. It's like, I was really hoping he would flourish as a point guard. I wasn't so sure that was his natural position, but you knew you needed somebody. Why not Devo? And he's like, at times you wonder why he gets as many minutes on the floor as he does. Again, it's not like he was, it's not like he was atrocious all the way through, right? He still had 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He had a steal. But he turns the ball over, and his shot selection was just complete. It was nonsense. It just didn't. That's not your game, bro. That's not what you do. When he drives to the lane, sometimes it can look pretty. You remember at times last year, it was like, oh my God, he can drive the lane? Like, we saw him do that in high school, but we hadn't really seen it much last year. And then he started to develop the offensive end of his game, and he got comfortable within his role. And maybe, I think Tate and Smith and those guys and Moody, he was just a nice piece to have on the floor when those guys are garnering all the attention. But as soon as the defense draws in on him, he's done. It's either gonna be a goofy pass, which leads to a turnover, or he's just gonna lose the ball at the rim and not finish. His shot selection, I feel like we gripe about JD's shot selection all the time. Devo went 2 of 10 tonight and 0 for 4 outside. He was 7 of 8 at the line. And look, if that's what he's trying to do when he drives the lane, he's trying to draw contact, trying to drive the foul, and you're going to go 7 of 8, I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. But still, there were several of those attempts that were not fouls that ended up just being turnovers or missed opportunities at some more ball movement. I've always been a fan of the idea that you don't take a shot until you've at least had 3 different players have touched the ball, at least. I like that kind of basketball. I like trying to find an opening somewhere. I like trying to be a little bit more, tactical about what you're doing on the offensive end of things. Don't settle for your first open look. We didn't see a ton of that tonight, but we did see it. If you notice that you're driving the lane and you know what, you've drawn a lot of defenders and you don't have the best look, maybe kick it out if you can. Look, it's real easy for us to say that. I get it. But I think it is important, that fans recognize this, and I have no problem. In fact, I encourage people, take it to Twitter, voice your concern. And I'm sure they hear it, and I'm sure they know it. We're not telling them anything that Coach Muss or any of that staff or those players don't already know. But it's like when they get on the floor and it's time to execute, all that just goes out the window. And, again, you're not winning many games. If you're in this, I don't know what do they average? What's their turnover? It's got to be 16 turnovers a game or something. You're not winning games doing that. And there's no cohesiveness on the floor. And until they get that figured out, they're not going to win very many games. Could we be similar to Kentucky last year, Ty? That could be the case, but the difference being this year is you have so many transfers, and with that kind of roster turnover, like I've said, You could live by the portal and you can die by the portal, and I feel like that's his game plan here. He's gonna treat it like an NBA roster. You lose somebody because you're cutting because of salary. You're trying to make room for salary. You're trying to make room for how many players you can have on a roster and who's gonna come in and bring whatever it is that they do great. You're gonna bring them in. It's like building a I don't know, like a, you guys, everyone played with Legos, right? It's like trying to put those pieces together and build something cool. I never could. I love Legos, but I couldn't. I had to buy those, like, you know, where they come with the plans and you had to keep looking at the box. I always wanted the the Star Wars, the Imperial Walker. I always wanted one of those, but they're so expensive, and it would have taken me years to finish. You kind of feel like that's Musk right now. His box of Legos is a bunch of pieces that don't belong in that set piece of that box. These guys are just not playing well together. Driving the ball is a good thing too. It can be, absolutely, because if you can draw contact and you can get those guys in foul trouble, you know, if they've got bigs clogging up the lane, why not attack them? Why not go at them? Why not try and draw some contact fouls? They were so good at that last year. And of course, J-Dub doing his thing. How many charges has he taken this year? Didn't they say 15? That's unreal already. I mean, his basketball IQ is through the roof. I'll just say that. The clock was supposed to stop at the 1 minute mark due to the made shot, but the clock still ran, cost us 20 seconds. I'm not sure about that. Passing the ball on my works if the players are willing to get open, not stand around watching. Okay. Yes, we're soft. Kamani is the only tough player. I would argue Kamani and Wade. I think Likes is pretty damn tough. That guy's not afraid to drive the lane and take contact and get thrown down to the floor. I would argue that this team is actually pretty tough. It's shot selection, it's turnovers, and it's just not playing well together. Jalen Tate always calmed us down when someone got on a run last year. He did. He bailed you out a lot, and yeah, you're right. They're missing him big time. I think him, and it would be nice to have someone like Smith, Moses Moody, you know, nice pieces on the chessboard, right? Complete. You've got your a nice Lego set here. You got all your pieces. You're not missing anything, and you build something beautiful. Just don't have it this year. You know, it's like it's like the wrong set. They're good pieces, right? They might belong here or there. They might belong somewhere else, but you're having a hard time getting them to fit. A true point guard would change the dynamics of this team. I could not agree more. Stop playing man to man. These kids can't play man. Did you hear them talk about him playing zone defense? He's had to relearn how to play zone. Jay Will and Kamani should be your starting front court. Kamani can be I like how physical he is when he's trying to crash the boards. Like, Kamani can change the dynamics of what you're doing on the front court. I really like I like how he's coming along. I told you guys, like, they're deep in certain positions. It's just finding them. They're, you know, finding the role for them and then them buying into that role, right? And if he comes along, if you get him to buy in, I mean, he didn't exactly blow up, but he had 8 points, 4 offensive rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block with 7 points. What does Arkansas say? How many minutes he got? How many minutes did Kamani? They're saying he got 18 minutes. He was 83% at the free throw line. Sometimes it's funny how the ESPN stat sheet and Arkansas stat sheets are a little bit different. But, you have some tough players. But yeah, here's what's crazy. Okay. It's kind of like they're chipping away. They're finding their strengths, but their weaknesses are still kind of over. Like their weaknesses are still there's such a big issue, right? But they're chipping away and doing better at the things they already do pretty good at, like offensive rebounding. They're a solid offensive rebounding team. And a lot of that early on was because of Tony. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was getting 5, 6, 7 offensive rebounds, about 4. But he probably averaged, I would say, the first 8 or 9 games of the year. Guy was probably averaging about 5 offensive rebounds while getting, 20 minutes. Now his time's kind of getting cut back a little bit, and you're finding other guys to step up into that role. And last year, what I thought Arkansas did so well was it's like you didn't just have to rely on your front court to go after rebounds, right? You didn't have to just rely on J-Dub or Connor or Justin Smith. Everybody crashed down to come after those loose balls and to come after rebounds and miss shots on both ends of the floor. And even though they really weren't an elite level rebounding team, the effort was there to chase after the rebound, to go and grab the rebound. And this year, it's like you've got to really rely on just a couple of guys to do that every single game, maybe 3 if you're lucky. Today was a good example of everybody getting involved. I mean, you had Tony with 6 rebounds. He had 4 offensive rebounds, doing what he's done most of the year. J.D. Notae with 5 rebounds. So just about everybody that played outside of Jackson Robinson, KK who got some minutes, Wade, and Likes, just about everybody had at least 3 or 4 rebounds. And that's good to see. It's good to see a couple of guys getting into seeing J-Dub getting into the 11 total rebounds. Kamani with 8, Devo with 7. By the way, he had 7 assists. Wasn't all bad for Devo, like I said. It was just his shot selection. It kind of made you scratch your head a little bit. Guys, if Muss goes, so does who is calling for Muss to be fired? That is just craziness. Hannah Wrongy says announcers were so annoying they said largest lead of the game, A&M, about 1,000 times. Can't afford to have. I don't know who's saying for Muss to get fired. Who's saying that? That's ridiculous. Shahid Mustafa, what's up, man? Hey, Ty, how recruiting high school players with no experience guarantees a better product on the floor versus portal players with some experience? Musselman coaching poorly this season, ? It's kind of a loaded. That's a tough question to answer, man. I mean, again, it's different when you go after these guys in high school because you've been actively recruiting them for probably 2-3 years. You know their tendencies. You've gotten to know them, right? And then typically what happens, and this class is no exception, Pinion and Smith and those guys, they get to know each other. They're friends. I guarantee you they're all in a group chat together somewhere, either on social media or their phones. That kind of bonding and that cohesiveness starts when they're in high school, right? Opposed to transfer guys who just kind of come in and it's like, okay, I'm going to put you here, put you there, put you there. Oh, Likes, you were really good at knocking down free throws. Like, you were really good at getting to the line. You're really good at driving the lane and drawing contact. I'm going to put you as this piece. I'm going to use you against full court. Against the full court pressure, I'm going to put him there. You're going to gel. Hopefully you gel well with these guys when they're on the floor. It's just different, right? You've had time to kind of recruit these kids. And, Muss has been actively recruiting this class, I would argue, for a while. I sometimes pay no attention to when they give the offer. Sometimes they don't. They wait a little bit before they toss an offer to a kid. That's both football. That's all sports, right? That's football and basketball, no matter men's or women's. Like, they want to wait. Okay, now I'm going to give you a committable offer. But it's just a different scenario. This day and age of college basketball, it's just different. And again, the portal has changed college athletics forever. It's a difficult question to answer. I mean, I truly don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but I would argue, sometimes you almost feel like maybe it would be better to just go after these high school kids they create this bond or whatever during the recruiting process. They go to these tournaments, they interact with other teams. They play together or play against each other, whatever. They get to know each other, and that camaraderie starts right then and there. That would be my assumption. Maybe that plays the role as to why high school kids who come in usually can have probably a bit of an edge versus guys that come in from other teams through the portal. This year, J.D. Note is your leading scorer. You're talking about a guy that right now, what is he averaging now? After today, he's probably up to about 20, almost 20 points a game, 19 or so points a game. We've seen these guys when they're on. Devo last year, clearly, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. I have no idea. But next year, without a doubt, OMG, that class is loaded, right? We know that class is absolutely loaded. And you feel so much better about what's happening next year. I know someone's going to ask me, is Muss just looking forward to next year? No. If you know the man, if you've ever heard him talk about losing, he absolutely hates losing. Okay? No, he's not already, put this season behind him. I think he does recognize that they're hard to coach. They're difficult to coach. He's made that pretty clear. You've seen Kamani's hustle to the floor and get a steal at the end. Yeah, he's Kamani, and he's going to get in foul trouble. I'm trying to remember who was that last year that did that. Was it Justin Smith? Was it? When they were trying to get more minutes on the floor, they'd come on, they'd hustle. I can't remember who. Maybe it was Ethan a couple years back. Ethan Henderson would come onto the floor and he struggled around the rim and he'd get in foul trouble quick. He'd have 3 fouls by the end of the first half. He'd get his minutes reduced in the second, and then he comes in and then he's in deep foul trouble at the end of the second half. These refs are terrible. Transfer portal breeds this and unfair expectations. Sure. Okay. But it is what it is. Last year was no different, Brent. I'm not saying you're wrong, but last year wasn't any different. Last year, again, you only go as far as you did because of those transfers. I can't believe I'm still seeing people talk about Mike Anderson. Well, it's to be expected, right? He was here for a while, and he had a couple of good runs in the season. He had some, he didn't lose often during the regular season. He didn't have any losing seasons. He had nothing to do with the team on the floor today. He left 2 players, Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe, not enough to make a great team. Coach A never got us relevant. It's also unfortunate he had to play North Carolina as often as he did. Muss is on the hot seat. Country boy, that is the most ridiculous take I think you've had, and that's saying something. He's got another bunch of combo guards and forwards coming in next year. He better get a couple of dominant big men. Yeah, that's the only area you're a little bit concerned about, right, is what's their size going to look like next year, even though you're going to have some longer guards. I agree the portal is like the lottery. You hit and miss. This year's a miss, and I think that's fair, Michael. I think that's a fair assessment. Not so much a miss in terms of their talent, a miss that they're just not playing well together. They're not buying into their roles. I think that's a big part of it. This won't be happening next year. Nick Smith and Walsh won't let this happen. I wouldn't put the world on their shoulders. We got to remember they're still going to be freshmen. But damn, God, the talent next year is unreal. I'll say that, buddy. I'll say that. You got a big 10-4 on the talent level. It's going to be incredible next year with the talent, with the ceiling of those players that they're going to have. Still too early to write this team off, but they are in a big hole. I agree. Is that Jeremy? How do you say that? Jareem McCollum? I agree. Yeah, and then I want Shaq. Kamani +7, which leads the team. Will Note get drafted? I have no idea. He's playing. He's getting points, right? His production on the floor is nice. and I don't care about basketball again. Yeah, but T-Dub, I mean, let's be real, man. You've said it before. You're not into basketball. And I'll say this, the casual basketball fan, the casual rate, and I'm not sure, T-Dub, I don't know, would you consider yourself a casual basketball fan? Fair, I mean, honest question, right? I think you're probably someone, I think you're like a lot of fans, especially today, excited about what happened last year, right? Like, yeah, I'm excited. Maybe they can do that again. But the minute they lose a few games and there's kind of a negative feel, negative, whatever you want to call it, aura, energy, whatever, around the basketball program, people turn it off. And that's fair. Arkansas basketball has been vanilla in the 2020s, or in the 2000s, I should say. Very casual. See, okay, there you go. And that's fair. And you'll admit that, and that's fine. There's a lot of very casual or casual fans. You're right, it's Jeremy. You're right, it's Jeremy, just spelled with an E. Okay. I've never seen it spelled that way. That's cool. KK will be gone after this year. I could see that. I could see him hitting the portal. I think Musk figures it out, but my question is it too late by the time he figures it out? I truly believe he does figure it out. I think it's as much about him figuring it out as it is these guys buying into their roles. And if that's the case, then he may never figure it out, because if they're not buying into the roles, then you're not getting good production on the floor. Like going to Walmart in my onesies casually. I mean, that's fair, man. I mean, those people probably, people like that who are in that area of care about Razorback basketball are probably done unless Arkansas goes on another great run. You know what they call those people, Mr. T-Dub? They call them bandwagon fans. No, I get it. Basketball's not for everybody. My fondest memories of being a Razorback fan ever are basketball. I mean, great football moments, but growing up in the 80s, being a kid that was born in 83, I was too young to remember Nolan's rough start, right? By the time I was old enough to start kind of caring about basketball, as much as a kid can, when I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, Arkansas basketball is the cream of the crop. Like, they're making the Final Fours. I mean, names like Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Oliver Miller, Corliss Williamson. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on. Scotty Thurman. Joe Johnson was here for a year, but by that point, we didn't realize he was going to be as great as he was in the NBA. Drafted by the Celtics, and then left after a year, and then came back. Play zone defense. Put Connor underneath the bat. I wish it was that simple. Mine were football tie with Matt Jones and Darren Felix. I mean, I was, that's when I was in high school with Matt Jones, and Matt Jones is still my favorite Razorback of all time. I've never been blown away by someone like that. Watching them play in person, I've just never seen anything like that. Darren McFadden is my second, right? Felix obviously in there, but Matt Jones to this day, I've just never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. And watching that in person was just insane. But, yeah, my first great memories are of Arkansas basketball. Maybe that's why I've never fully let go of the rope. Mine were football with Matt Jones, Darren Felix. We need Dusty Hannas on this team. I'm only 16. Wow. The great basketball run I seen was last year. I loved every second of it. And that's great, man. Glad you got to experience that at that age, man. I mean, again, I feel almost spoiled. Growing up on Custer. You guys Google Custer, all right, in Fayetteville. That's how close I was to the U of A. Like, Baum Stadium was damn near built just on the other side of my neighborhood. You look out past right field, that's my neighborhood. That's where I grew up, over in Custer. like we would ride our bikes down to when they were clearing the land for Baum Stadium. It's pretty cool. People tester were criticizing, questioning Pit Boss about the culture he's building after all the players leaving. Is that justifiable question, criticism? Oh, yesterday. People yesterday. Okay, No, Tony, look, I think a fair amount of the transfer portal, that is today's age in football. I realize Arkansas probably has more players in the portal than I think anybody in the SEC, but you have an 85 scholarship limit. Now, I don't think Fouché and Brooks were a part of that plan, but I do think several other of those guys were a part of the plan of we're trying to make room. We're trying to make room for our roster. So, no, I don't – is it fair to ask that? I mean, who am I to say that, right? Like, who am I to say whether that's fair or not? Look, I mean, fans jump off they jump off the ledge or live on the ledge constantly. I was a student in the days of the triplets. Wow. Well, Bradley, you saw it all, my man. Ty, this question has nothing to do with basketball. Did you hear anything about Arkansas 5-star linebacker? Huh? Arkansas 5-star linebacker. Saw someone post that on Twitter, but I have not. I don't know who you're talking about. Arkansas doesn't have a 5-star linebacker. In fact, they've never had a 5-star linebacker in the age of recruiting sites. They've had a 5-star defensive back, Darius Winston. I think Ahmad Carroll, of course, he came out when online recruiting was brand new, and I don't remember. I think he was highly rated, 5-star guy. Why is Razorback baseball the most consistent sport? Dave Van Horn, man. I mean, he's a legend. Like he's I mean, when you're able to not only was the foundation built for him when he came in and he took over in the early 2000s, he then built on top of it. And what he did was he built a freaking mansion on top of it. Arkansas baseball, I mean, it sells itself. Great branding, and then on top of wins, the expectations are, if you're not hosting a super regional, then it's a disappointing kind of season. I mean, when you have that kind of culture, when you're able to build on top of an already laid out foundation and look, I mean, also it's not like baseball hasn't had down years, guys, by the way. They've had some disappointing seasons, even, when they were supposed to be good. I remember not long ago, they were preseason number 1. Now, last year they took number 1, and they were there, and then, they fell flat on their face, and then they got eliminated by NC State. But, I mean, and how long has Dave Van Horn been here, right? I mean, I don't think it's fair to compare baseball right now to any of the sports, the other two. Dave Van Horn is awesome, but that damn pop foul, yeah. Baseball's great, but they can't finish. That's kind of a casual take, though. I mean, it really is, man. That's a casual take on baseball. Like, that team is – guys, there are teams around the country that would kill to be in the position that Arkansas baseball's in. The stadium, the fan support, and, oh, yeah, they're ranked every year. And, again, the expectations are hosting super regional or at least a decent run at Omaha. There are really good teams from big-time schools that would kill to be in that situation with baseball. And their fans feel like we're the most, that we're spoiled. I hate that Mississippi State – I'm not even going to lie about it. I hate that Mississippi State has come along. We were confident about quarterback depth, which is why we didn't recruit any in 2022 class, and now they only have 2. But transfer portal gives and takes. Yeah, I think they knew that they're probably going to have to go to the portal. And they also didn't expect a quarterback to go down with that serious of an injury. So, I mean, to be fair, like you can't – now, Petrino's philosophy, and I think Brett Bielema had a similar philosophy, was to take a quarterback every class. Not everybody does that. I was a little bit surprised. Other than Cops, I feel like our pitching will be better than last year. Didn't Arkansas have some good baseball teams in the 90s? They did, yeah. Norm DeBryant had some really good teams in the 90s. Okay, all right, we're going to shut her down. We're at the hour mark here. I do appreciate you guys. I know it's – look, I mean, I've even contemplated the idea of not doing post-game shows after losses. I mean, I really have. Like, it's just getting to the point where I feel like it's – you know, the expectation is what it is. And until we start winning, but I'm going to keep doing these for the foreseeable future, win or lose. But I do appreciate you guys. If you want to support the channel, you can join Patreon. It's a minimum of $4 a month. As of right now, there's no like hidden content, but I showed you guys, if you were here for that Friday show, that Friday live stream was absolutely crazy. That's the longest stream I've ever done, and it was nuts, and it was a lot of fun. But I showed you guys some stuff, some ideas that I had to post in Patreon. If you missed it, you missed it, but it was great. Don't ask me what time in the video. I forgot when I did it. It was later in the stream, maybe after the 2-hour mark, somewhere in there, but had a lot of fun with that. But, yeah, Friday's stream was crazy. That was nuts. So appreciate you that those of you who were there, and we had several people actually start from the beginning and stayed all the way through. That was incredible. So I appreciate that. Do you think Muss will get it going, or will he be kicked out after 4 years? Again, crazy. That's just a loaded question, man. I have no idea. I mean, no. I mean, that Elite Eight run bought him a lot of time. Now, I think a fair question would be, if he starts feeling the heat and, you know, he's not getting paid and he's feeling the heat from fans and it's just not really working, you know, then you kind of feel like, what does he do? You know, does he re-sign any extension if he's feeling it? I don't think that'll be the case. Look, again, I don't know what they do this year. I have no idea. If all these players buy in, and if they gel and there's cohesiveness on the floor and you've got that rotation down and you win some ball games, maybe you go on a little bit of a run late in February and you're kind of on the outside looking in, I think at this point we would consider that still a decent season. Yeah, the expectations at the beginning of the year were really high, probably unfair, probably a little too high. At one point you were top 10 in the country, and you could call it a disappointing season if that were to be the case, if that happens, and that's fair. But no, he's not going anywhere. And next year, if it's the same, then I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I mean, we got to get through this year before we can even start to talk about what happens next year. You know, we don't even know what the roster turnover is going to look like. We don't know who's hitting the portal, so on and so forth. We don't know members of this staff, who sticks it out, who doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of things. Like, I'm not even prepared to talk about year 4. So, I feel better. I moved on. Oh, there you go. Glad you could do that here. All right, I'll be back Monday, 11 o'clock. We're gonna get back on recruiting. I'm gonna take a look at this 2023 class. I mean, that's kind of the plan. As of right now, it's kind of up in the air what that show's gonna be about. But I think I might focus on some more portal stuff, and probably get back on recruiting, 2023 recruiting, and maybe some other stuff. I don't know. So, yeah. All right. Woo Pig, and I'll see you guys Monday. We might, listen, I was thinking if those of you who are in our Discord, we might do something later live in Discord or something. If you guys, if enough of you want to do it, I might, maybe we can get caught up on some more stuff. Talk a little more basketball if you guys want, vent some frustration. You guys will have open mics, or not open mics, but it'll be a place where you can kind of voice your concern or whatever, and I don't know, smoke a cigar, maybe drink a beer, hang out in our Discord, in our live chat. So if you guys, for those of you that are in our Discord, you want to take part in that, if I'm able to do it, again, I'll let you know. I'll make sure and let everybody know if I'm able to do it in Discord. Because the last couple times we've done that, they've been really fun. So Stephen Hamner's out of town. I reached out to him, see if he wanted to do something last night. Stephen Hamner, who's from QB Spotlight, he's out of town. So he's not available. But I mean, you guys want to ask me questions, you want to vent some more frustration, as long as it's within reason, it's a good place to do it. So, all right, Woo Pig. And maybe I'll see you tonight on Discord. If not, I'll see you at Monday, 11 o'clock. Woo Pig.